Let's get y'all votes marked for this week's episode of Sword Art Online Alicization. Man, this episode was fucking amazing. This is probably like my favorite episode we've got so far. But hey, y'all did us dirty with that cliffhanger. Y'all did us dirty. Like y'all, like when shit's about to go down, or after like Kirito's gonna like unleash. I'm just gonna call it his Bankai. Y'all end it. Come on! Y'all leave us on that cliffhanger. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit, guys. That's some bullshit. But in all seriousness, this episode was fucking amazing. Loved it. Art animation, godlike. Like, I would say now that if this for the next year's Crunchyroll Anime Awards doesn't get nominated for Best Animation, I'm gonna kill someone. Like Crunchyroll, if y'all screwed over Attack on Titan for whatever reason, y'all didn't nominate it, but y'all better not do us dirty. Y'all better not do us dirty again. Y'all better nominate SAO for the Anime Awards next year, or I guess this year in 2019. But you all get what I mean. Anyway. So, enough jibber jabber from your tree. Let's get into it. So, we started this episode off with these two where we left off last with the two little girls, meeting up with Kirito and Yujo, and, that's where the episode ends. So, here, we start, so the girls are kind of walking down, and they're asking, like, hey, are you the intruders that, we heard about earlier? And so Kirito actually says, hey, I'm not good with kids, Yujo, you take over. Which I'm sure I wasn't the only one that was shocked here, because we know Kirito has a kid, or is raising one at least, you could say, Yui. Which, we have seen throughout the series that, Kirito ain't actually have that. So, it was weird for him to say, hey man, I'm not good with kids. Because Yui is like pretty much like, what, 9 years old essentially? Like, she's like 9. With speaking of being 9 years old, I actually just finished watching Glass a couple hours ago. Loved the movie. If you guys are a fan of Unbreakable, if y'all were a fan of Split, or if y'all are a fan of M. Night Shyamalan in general, hell, even if you're not a fan of this movie, okay, maybe if you weren't a fan, if you're not an M. Night Shyamalan fan, this movie is going to convince you, but overall, if you like M. Night Shyamalan's movies and you were a fan of Split or Unbreakable or both, this movie is definitely for you, and I highly recommend you guys go check it out, because this movie was fucking awesome. Don't listen to the low score it has on Rotten Tomatoes, surprisingly, because, well, they're usually always wrong. You can see that in some of my reviews of some of the movies that have low scores. I've usually always given them positive reviews, because, they're actually good. Anyway, so enough of that. Anyway, so we find out so they introduce themselves, and first they talk about how, we were told that, that we were supposed to be locked in our rooms, but we did, because, we thought y'all might have been, like, these, like, dark knights, or you were from the dark territory, but y'all look like you're humans, and they're like, yeah, we're from the human realm. We're not, monsters, we're not ogres, we're not goblins here to rape you. If this was Goblin Slayer, they're just, we're just here, making our way. And so they were talking about how they got here, and, such and such. So they talk about how they get here, as they made their way downstairs. And also, one thing I noticed, this is actually what I noticed later on in the episode, because that scene where Kirito says, hey, no, man, I'm not good with kids, comes back later, and it makes perfect sense there. We never see Kirito's face throughout that initial segment right before Yujo introduces Kirito. Now, granted, I could be looking too deep into this, and this could be giving anyone too much credit. I would like to think they probably thought this a little bit more ahead than I would like, as I said. But I noticed how they kept Kirito's face covered here, which I thought that was a nice touch because of what happens later on in the episode. Anyway, so they get downstairs, and they keep looking around Kirito. They look up and down him and Yujo. And they're like, yeah, you guys are like humans, and they kind of have like and those two girls, where you find out their names are Fidel, and Linel, I don't know how you pronounce her name, and so they kind of this little huddle, and so they introduce themselves. They talk about how they're actually sisters in training. They're sisters in training, and yeah, excuse me. And right after that, she asks them, like, hey, what do you guys' names are? And they introduce themselves, I'm Yujo, this guy behind me. And I like the way Yujo introduces kids, like, hey, yeah, this guy behind me, this shy little dude over here, his name's Kirito. I like that little interaction between the two. He's like, yo, he's just sitting behind Yujo with his arms crossed, kind of like standing sideways from them. He's just sitting there. And so they ask, like, hey, do y'all have a family name? I'm like, no, we don't have a family name. We're both senators. And so they're like, oh, okay, we do. And she has this, and one of the girls, I think it was Fidel, or it might have been Linnell, actually had this sadistic smile on their face, and where she stabs Yujo with this little pocket, with this little dagger, and she introduces what her full name is. It is Fidel Synthesis 28, I believe. And then and then Kirito's like, Yujo! So then the OP plays, which I will say this. Listen to this OP a couple extra times. I think this OP is probably my new favorite. Like, you guys know I love the Elise OP, and I do hope she does come back later on. For maybe do another OP later on in the series, but this OP, I won't lie, I would definitely say it's better than the first one. Not in terms of just song, our animation quality is, oh my god, like, this is top tier shit, top quality shit. Like, you can tell A1 put everything they had into the series. And I might have mentioned this before, but if a storyline Alicization does not get nominated for Best Art Animation next year at the Crunchyroll Anime Awards, I'm gonna be pissed. So anyway, so after the OP plays, we get back to Yujo and Kirito, where Kirito also gets stabbed, and so they're dragging them up to the 50th floor with their heads, but they're just dragging them, they're not carrying them or nothing. And the girls ask, like, hey, so you're probably wondering how two little girls became integral knights. And so we then delve into their origin story. So we find out they were born and raised inside the cathedral, and that the nuns and the monks were made to create them. So whether that means they were doing spells or they were getting down and dirty behind closed doors and birthing these kids like nobody's business, whatever the case may be, they were created for this experiment for the administrator to try out this new sacred art to pretty much relive or revive the dead, a resurrection spell. And so these kids, like I'm not joking, like these were little kids, like these were little kids, and these were little kids too. Like I said, they were about 8, if not younger, and they were essentially forced to kill each other to try out this experiment, see if it actually works. And I really dug the way A1 did this, because I bet my laptop. I bet that they were probably they had to do some heavy censorship for this episode because like I said, because now I don't know how the censors work in Japan, what's okay, what's not okay in Japan, with the time slot they would give this show, but I could imagine kids killing each other is probably like a big no-no in Japan. Now, I love the way A1 found a way around it to still do it, but probably not do it as like a one-to-one adaptation, as say maybe it was in say the light novels. It's kind of the same way where Studio Period did with how they managed to adapt chapter 125 of Tokyo Re. So anyway, so they were forced to we see and most of the other kids that are Fizel and Lionel, I believe is how you say her name, or pretty much just these dark shadowy figures. And so we see one kid stabbing themselves in the chest, the other one gets him right in the neck, stabs him right cheek, right on the top of the neck. And so I'm just going to refer to these girls as Fizel and Light, because I'm not going to refer to each one as by the name, because I don't even remember which one of these girls were which. So one of the girls just stabs the other one and she has this massive smile on her face. She's like, and so she's like, okay, and then the other one stabs her, because these two were in a pair. And when we got back, and so they both died. The administrator tried the resurrection spell, and it worked on those two. but it didn't work. But it wasn't a complete 1-1. And this is where I've really done the stylistic choice, and I say why I say it was definitely why it worked here, and I will say that it didn't really work that well, and why it didn't work in Ava, and why it also came off the way it did in Ava. But I say it was a great way, and I really did the way A1 did it here at SEO Alicization. So from there we see how others turned out, and since, like I said, probably due to the censors, they pretty much they took a cue actually out of Ava's playbook and did the whole thing where it's like kind of these painting sketches of what was supposed to be here. Now, granted, I don't know if when the Blu-rays drop, they're gonna actually fully animate these, like like the rest of the show. They're just gonna leave it like this, but they kind of, like I said, because you guys remember in the last episode of Evangelion, whether it was because of laziness, production issues, because of rush production, or budget issues, whatever the case ended up being for Ava, you guys know the last episode was pretty rough in art animation and barely had any art animation, but where it had scenes where it was actual art animations and other scenes where it was like pretty much just like, still paintings or sketches, or like animated sketches, essentially. And so they did the same thing here. But like I said, it works here because, number one, I think it was a good stylistic choice, and two, it was like the constant flip-flopping thing that they did Ava, where you're constantly kind of taking over 1 minute's normal animation, the next minute it's to sketches, and it just didn't feel right. Here, it felt right, and like I said, it was more, and I really did the stylistic, and I feel like more of stylistic, and plus, probably also due to the censors, because I doubt the shit would have been okay to air on Japanese television. So, anyway, so back to what I was saying. So we see one of them, some of the kids, they would just straight up explode. And we see like a sketch, and we see like this little painting of a kid like explode, like just blue stuff going all over it. Another time, this was also when they were doing the thing with like the sketches or paintings, whatever you want to call them, where they would just be like these chunks of flesh, like where they were alive, but they might, they were different people, and they probably just wanted to die. They were probably in so much pain when they were just these chunks of flesh. And so then they were like, and then we find, so then since they, were able to survive, the administrator made them integral knife, because they were like the only survivors. They tried this a couple extra times, but by the time they were 8 years old, that's when they just gave up on this whole thing because it didn't really work, or at least they didn't have enough, or they didn't really have consistent numbers. Anyway. And so they kind of looked over this and researched where they found that actually, if you actually did clean cuts, number one, the pain would be minuscule, and two, you would actually have a higher rate of actually surviving or of being resurrected. And so that's what they did. And they actually tried this and this is when they went back to the painting thing, but it was animated. And I really did the way it was animated. So I thought this was actually I actually thought overall this whole segment right here looked really cool. So one of them, we see literally one of them just decapitate the other one. Head falls off, and then the rest of the corpse just falls over and stabs the other one in the heart. And I really did the way it was animated there. Now, like I said, this was probably due because of the censors. Because imagine this was actually animated. My God, the controversy that would spew is like, if this aired on American television, oh my God, could I hear the SJW articles from here? Everybody would lose their mind if this was actually actually anime. So, like I said, I don't know if A1's going to go back and redo these scenes and fully animate them when the Blu-rays drop, or they're just going to leave it like this when the Blu-rays drop. But whatever the case may be, I thought the way A1 handled this was one good job, because with what they had to do here, you could imagine, maybe for some light novel reasons, they probably surprisingly saw this. But like you guys know, I don't read the light novels personally. So yeah, I could just imagine how this is probably a lot more graphic than light novel, because light novels probably don't have censors. But yeah, you gotta give everyone credit that they actually did adapt this stuff, and I did like the way how they did it. Yeah, so that's all I gotta say on that front. I just really dug how A1 tackled that whole thing, because I could imagine they were probably like, fuck, how the hell do we adapt this? We got kids that are killing each other, them exploding, and then they're becoming pretty much zombies, and yeah, we're gonna have to do something special for this. And I just love the way A1 took it. I love how they took the challenge, the way they adapt this. But enough of me talking about that. So they get to the 50th floor. Remember the integral knife with 4 of his lackeys So, and then I love how they're strong. These girls are surprisingly strong. I have to say that right now. These girls are surprisingly strong for their age because they're like 8 years old, and they just toss Kirito and Yujo into the 50th floor door like they're punching bags or like they're bags of potatoes. They just toss them in there like they weigh nothing. Like they don't struggle. They're just like yoink and they just throw. Damn, these little girls must have been hitting the gym lately, doing them push-ups and everything to get up that arm strength. But anyway, enough of that. And so the knights are like, yo, why are y'all two here? What are you two apprentices doing here in this honorable area? Well, Sir Fierto, I think is how you say it. Fierto, it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like Fierto. I might be mispronouncing it a little bit, but it's pretty much spelled like ratio, but just change the alphabet R. Anyway, so they're like, why are y'all here? And they're like, oh yeah, because we are here because we heard about this, and since we want a bit of that promotion, we want to promote because these girls want promotion. They want to be upgraded to Integral Knights. They're sick and tired of constantly waiting. And they got bored of the whole research and everything. They want to become Integral Knights. They want to get their dragons. They want to get their divine objects. They want to be there, but they want to be in shine knights. They want to be knights. Have the shining armor. Cruising around on a dragon and shit. And so they said, look, we are going to decapitate these two guys right here and right now, and y'all tell the party facts. What happened. But I'm assured, since you all are such honorable knights, you all won't steal the credit, right? And I like how they kind of have, they kind of like this smile on their face on top on, decapitating them, and that, and we're sure y'all get to the credit. So when she gets to, say, you all are not going to take the credit, right? She kind of has a bit of a pissed off expression. Nice little touch there from the Arnamics, guys. What you got to say? The voice acting throughout this whole episode was phenomenal. The Japanese voice has an amazing job, and I will definitely say this. I don't know if Aniplex already has the whole dub cast already cast, but they already got the guys who play Yu-Gi-Oh! And all those guys, but I'll say this. The dub cast have got their work cut out for them with this week's episode. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how Aniplex and the guys, and the guys at Aniplex are going to take care and how they're going to do this dub, because I love SEO's dub, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they bring to the table this one. Anyway, so then Kirito gets up, slashes both of them in their arm with their blades, and then they were like, what? How? And they fall to the ground. And then our boy Kirito just gets up. Oh my god, this scene was so badass. I love this scene was so badass. So Kirito gets up and he's like, so y'all are probably wondering how I'm still standing. How I'm standing. And so we find out that, y'all gave it away. With those scabbards all holding, they're made out of, I think it was like ruby oak, if my memory serves to be correct, and because that doesn't rot, and you wouldn't be season training, or you wouldn't be apprentices if you were holding those, if you had those, and you definitely wouldn't be apprentices in training if you had those daggers, which are poisonous, which have poison to them. So the fact that you did that already got, which is why Kirito said, hey man, I'm not good with kids, and went back because he was doing a poisonous dissolving spell, but it took some time, hence why Kirito and Yujo still ended up fall into the blades. That's probably why Kirito managed to get up first, was because the blade that he was stabbed with, because he got stabbed later on after Yujo, so maybe the blade was a lot less poisonous, and then when Yujo got cut. Anyway, so that's why he's standing up, and and so he picks up both their knives, and the little girl just kind of closes her eyes. They got this little tear in their eye, and it looks like the Kirito's gonna kill him, but he doesn't. He just throws the knives right before them. He says, I'm not gonna kill y'all. Y'all just watch and learn, and you'll see how powerful the Integral Knights that you're mocking are. And so Kirito gets out his sword, and I like the little sound effect when he swings it around before he charges in. I love that sound effect. So he's like, I'm Kirito, the swordsman, coming in. And so then we get, oh my god. And then the four lackeys come in there, they're facing off. Oh my god, the art animation here. Oh my god, A1, y'all. Like I said before, I'll say it again. A1 with the art animation quality they have here, I forgive them, and all is forgiven for P5. like I said before, all is forgiven for the lackluster, inconsistent art animation that was in Persona 5 the animation. When we got this quality art animation here in Alicization, I can forgive them for giving P5 the scraps. I can forgive them, and I hopefully y'all can too, because this art animation is too good. We are not. This is like movie quality stuff. I love it. So back to where it was. So then they're charging in. So then they're charging. Kirito just makes quick. He doesn't kill any of them. He just moves past them. And I love this one part where he jumps off into the roof and then lands on like this pillar, and then like Wall jumps right off, heading right towards the main integral knight, the one in purple. Fierto comes charging in, and they have the sword clash. I love the sparks that are flying off of there, and they're fighting off, and then they're fighting. Then they're like, and then the four tails are like, hey, yo, you can't take, hey, we're your enemy right now. How dare you think you could go on her with him one-on-one? And he's like, nah, man, I got this. He's my opponent now. So they back away, and Kirito and Fierto go at it, and then we see her use like her augment thing for her sword, and then these beams start firing up. Kirito manages to get hit in the stomach, also got hit in the foot, manages to cut off like the first like feather or wing off the dude's helmet before he charges in again, and he manages to get his helmet up. Where we find out but first she explains how mirrors work, actually how this sword was conceived, how they brought a bunch of 1,000 mirrors, I think it was, into this one location to burn like this, melt this hole in a man-sized bullet. I like the way how they showed it, how it was animated. I thought that was actually really interesting what they did there with the kind of way it melted. I thought that was really cool. So the administrator took all these mirrors and the divine object, mixed it into a sword, and bam, we have this sword, which I believe was called Heaven something. I forget the exact name of the sword. So that's the sword where I should get it. So he faces the go off, and the kid manages to get to completely hit her helmet after he throws a sword at her, and she deflects it or whatever. It was amazing. There was so much great animation I couldn't really keep up with what they were doing. It was so good. We find out that he's actually a woman. And you could actually tell this in her voice, because I noticed this when I was watching the episode, that her voice low-key sounded like a woman, purposely making her voice deeper to sound like a man. You could actually tell this in her voice, that whether that was done on purpose or that's just the way it sounded, because it did sound like a woman. Deepening her voice to sound like a man. The same thing kind of happened in Mulan, if you guys remember Mulan, where you can tell that's kind of like a woman that's deepening her voice. You can kind of tell. I thought that was actually nice. Whether that was actually done on purpose by the voice actor or the voice director told her, hey, make your voice or that's just how it sounded. Whatever the case may be, I thought that was a nice little touch, and you could honestly really tell. It was definitely the exact opposite of what happened with Mitsuki. Anyway, so back to where I was. So then she's like, you're looking at me with that same look as that man. The second you see I'm a woman, that you can't fight me seriously, can you? And so then they charge, and then their face off, and they're clashing their swords. And Kirito's like, look, the reason why I was shocked just now that you were a woman wasn't because you're a woman. It was because the fact that you looked ashamed of it, the way you lost all your faith, that moment you lost all your bravado just because when we saw your face, and so they're going at it. Oh my god, this art animation was so good. I can't get over this art animation. It was so good. I could watch it forever. I could watch it for hours. They're still going in, so they're just clashing. I love this one part where they're just throwing a series of just normal strikes, and you can't even they're going so fast you can't even see their hands. I could gush about this art animation all day. But back to where it was. While they're fighting, Kirito says, just because you're a woman, I'm not going to hold back. Which is different, because I'm pretty sure back in season 2, when Kirito faced off against Yuki, he actually held back then. Now, granted, that was just a friendly competition there. This is pretty much life or death here, so of course Kirito wouldn't hold back. So, and so she even gives him props later on that that you didn't hold back even against this detestable face. And he's like, detestable? Then why do you comb your hair? And then for whose sake Do you comb your hair and apply color to your lips? In other words, saying why you comb your hair and why you put on lipstick or lip gloss, whatever it is, whichever it is. And so then we get this little flashback, which I'm assuming that was probably like from her past life before she was gonna take her own night. It's like, damn it, damn you, I'll kill you, whatever. And he's like, all right, I'll do the same. So they keep going now before she pretty much just does like her, like, I guess this is like her final attack. Does her final attack where like these light shot with these light where these like light beams or whatever just fire all over. Even she starts getting hit a couple times, so she's either A, she can't control, or B, she just doesn't care. And so they're going, so they're just flying all over the place. She gets hit a couple times, Kirito gets hit a couple times. Yujo does his augmented whatever, does his augmented skill. And I love the way Yujo does it. Twist the sword over and just slams it into the ground like it's Lord of the Rings. Be like, you shall not pass! It was amazing. Then they got this ice form going right towards the freezing Imperial Knights. And I love this scene where Kirito just gets on top when they like both jump in the air. Kirito manages to get like a little bit more height than she does. Kicks her shoulder, and so they're flying back to the ground. She gets engulfed in ice. Oh my god. This art animation was so freaking cool. I loved it. And so she gets engulfed in the ice, but she doesn't still do. She's still moving. She doesn't get completely engulfed in the ice and doesn't completely freeze. You're just like, Jesus, woman, stay down. So you're just fighting against her. She's battling against that. She manages to get out of there. And you're just like, you don't know what justice is. He's just trying to fight. And the character's like, look, brother. You can't beat her with hatred. The reason you're here right now isn't because you hate the Imperial Knights. It's because you're looking for Alice. Because you love her. Use love, not hatred, brother. Sounds cliche, but it works. And then we end the episode, which this didn't even feel I legit thought the episode was gonna keep going for like another 5-10 minutes. It did not feel like this was like gonna be like the end of the episode. Because usually I can usually tell. This was the one time where I actually legit thought the episode was gonna keep going for like another 5 minutes or something. Where he says, augment, whatever. I forget what the exact thing is called. And that's where the episode ends. Right when we see Kirito's gonna use his augment, his Bankai, whatever you want to call it. This episode, without doubt, my favorite of season 3. Like, A1, we are not worthy of this quality art animation you have been giving us. So overall, I give this week's episode, a 10 out of 10. Are y'all even surprised I gave it that high of a rating? This art animation was fucking phenomenal. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you didn't subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. The links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.